I just want to get your initial thoughts and how concerned you are about these shootings, namely those 13 in broad daylight.
Well, I am very, very concerned, as is every Hamiltonian, I think, and I know that the members of council are equally as concerned as I am. The frontline officers, women and men that are out there every day, they're concerned. The chief of police is concerned. It's not acceptable to have that kind of gun violence happening and to have that fear factor that exists in our community because of these incidents that are happening in broad daylight. And so I'm looking forward to the continued efforts that the police are undertaking with their specialty organization that's working on the gun violence piece, and the results hopefully will show. At the end of the day, people deserve a safe city. People deserve safe neighborhoods, and whether it's downtown or whether it's Stoney Creek or whether it's the mountain, we need to get those guns off the streets and make sure that our neighborhoods are safe.
And that specialty unit from the police that was a pilot last year, they've continued it, of course. Is that enough of a response, just given this huge amount of shootings and gun violence that we've seen so far?
Well, what I would say is it's an ongoing effort, and I have complete confidence that if the police department, if the chief of police and the service see that they need more resources, they will be putting those resources in place. I think that we've had a couple of significant weapons incidents where the police have found weapons that they've now been able to take off the street. So it's the perpetrators of these crimes. It's the people who are who have illegal firearms in their possession. Of course, there's issues around the drug trade and gang violence. I mean, all of these things are part of the problem. So having that focused unit, I think, is extremely important. Knowing that the police quickly recognized that it needed to be made permanent, so it's not just an extension; it's been made permanent. And I have full confidence that if more resources are required, then they will be made available.
What kind of response is coming from the city in terms of programming or money?
Well, of course, as you know, the city does fund the police service, and so that's something that we'll deal with at budget time. But look, there's always, I think, opportunity for the city to continue to work in partnership. I know there's a lot of programming that happens, particularly with young people in the community, that needs to be maintained and encouraged. I think that when you see the way that the annual reports are brought forward, where crime incidents are identified, there's often solutions or strategies, I think is the better way to put it, that we're looking at both as a police force that we have, but also as a city. So that partnership is really, really important.
What kind of strategies are we talking there?
Well, I mean, there's all kinds of different strategies that are kind of utilized. So, for example, we recently went through a tour of our downtown, for an example, to look at what are some of the environmental factors that may lead folks to feel unsafe and or create that broken window syndrome, where if things look unsafe, then the next thing you know, that becomes a place where crime might begin to occur. So things, for example, like lighting, things like cleanliness, things like getting rid of graffiti, things like making sure that there's animation events and things like that on our streets and in our communities, and particularly in the downtown. So those would be kind of civic, municipal, if you will, kinds of things, as well as, of course, as I mentioned, programming for youth, programming for young people, to give them things to do, to keep them kind of away from or otherwise occupied from these situations that might create a situation where they would be at risk to get involved in crime, and then there's the continuous requirement, I think, for all of us as Hamiltonians and people of the city to be engaged in making sure that anything that folks feel uncomfortable about or are concerned about are being kind of brought forward through the councillors and through the chief's office or the police as well. It's a partnership.
Hamilton Tax Court's closing part due to the gun violence downtown, they say. What do Hamiltonians lose with that?
Well, I think it's for me. It's a couple of things. I mean, we lose obviously some people that would have otherwise been working in the downtown, but it's also I think it's a bit of a blow to our sense of community. I mean, we are in this together as a city, and so whether it's the municipality per se, whether it's neighbors, whether it's community, whether it's the police, we have to pull together and encourage people to not run away and to stay strong and be prepared to be part of the solution and to be continuing to have confidence in the city. And so yes, it's a very difficult time right now. But that difficult time is not going to go away by these kinds of decisions. It's disappointing that the federal court is making that decision. It's problematic, and I'm not pleased by it. Let's put it that way. I think that they need to take some responsibility for being part of a community instead of just running away.